Hey everybody, I'm Chris Johnson. I've been a Vater artist since 2004. Been playing Vater sticks since 1998. I got called to tour with Rihanna from the musical director Tony Bruno. I worked with Tony Bruno previously on the Anastasia gig. Generally, auditions happen in LA, but this particular time, I was fortunate enough to know the music director and him knowing what he wanted as far as drums. And he called me, and I'm here. The Last God on Earth tour. It's a different tour, any tour that I've ever been on, mainly because my riser usually stays still in one position. This tour we have aerialists, we have mobilators, which is my riser's on a motor and it's moving across the stage back and forth. Screens go up and down, we have lifts and parts of the stage where you have to actually pay attention to where you're walking, because the lifts go down, they go up. It's B stage. It's pretty intricate, and you have to concentrate on what you're doing, or you can easily get distracted. With the flying aerialist in the air, and then you got a pink tank over here on the side that's shooting out, fake smoke and stuff like that. But it's definitely one of the biggest tours I've done. She's a great artist to work with. So easygoing. She knows what she wants. There's a drum battle that goes on during the show, and myself and Travis Barker assisted her in her drum lessons and stuff like that. She's also playing Vater sticks on the show. But I'm enjoying what I do. I love playing drums, and if I can tour the world doing it on somebody else's dime, that's cool too. I get to see a lot of different places, meet a lot of people, but this tour is probably one of the best tours. Well, it's definitely the biggest in production, but it's one of the best tours I've done ever. The most bizarre thing I've ever seen from my seat on stage, I think I saw like 2 vampires last night. Now, it wasn't like the typical, vampire in Brooklyn or like the True Blood vampires. It was like George Clinton vampires. There were 2 people in the front row dressed like George Clinton, but had like red contacts, and they rarely even smiled or anything. It was really creepy, and I didn't want to make eye contact or anything. But it was like the dude from the Twilight with the dreads. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, I've only seen it because my wife watches it, and she made me buy her the whole book series and stuff like that. But that was probably the most bizarre thing that I can say on camera that I've seen. If your aspirations is to tour, playing drums, I don't know how to say this without being like blunt and mean, but if you're playing drums, you should play drums because you love to play drums. And if you happen to get a paycheck, then that's cool too. But if I wasn't on this tour, I would still be playing drums. If I wasn't, if I was at home, I'd still be playing. So a lot of guys misinterpret touring for like not actually doing what you're here to do. Like, I'm here to play drums, and not party and not, you know, show up late and to get chicks and all that stuff, because it's not about that. It's about representing yourself and your family in the right way on a tour. That's what, I mean, the best way I can describe it is just be as professional as you can be when you get to the point to where you are touring. And it doesn't matter if it's a 15-passenger van tour, the stipulations applies. You still have to be on time. You still have to deliver the music. You still have to be professional. Dress appropriately. Smelling appropriately. Like, I mean, all of these things come into play only because you're representing yourself. And then in turn, they're going to say, that dude that plays with Rihanna, you know, he's kind of cool, but he's hard to have a conversation with because, you know, he's not a people person. He doesn't dress appropriately. He doesn't smell appropriately. He's not approachable. I can't talk to him. Like, so, I mean, these are all skills that you learn before you get on a tour. You know, I always say sports helped me the best way possible in life as far as being a team player. You know, showing up to practice late, you running laps. So I don't want to run laps per se. You know, I want to show up on time. I want to do my job. I want to run my routes in football. I want to run my routes to perfection so that, you know, the coach will be pleased, the tour manager would be pleased, or the artist would be pleased, and, you know, everybody's happy. You know, you get your check, take it home to mama, let her spend it, and, you know, wait for the next week to come around. You know, so if you're aspiring to go on tour, I just say just get all of those things in line. You know, get your personal life, your character, and everything in order. You know, I would hire a guy that could play half as good as you, but that shows up doing his job. Versus you know, the prima donna. I'm not calling anyone prima donna, but versus you showing up, you know, you playing 1 million beats per minute, and, you know, I can't approach you. You know, so just take that in consideration. Just coming from me, I'm not a expert at touring or anything. You know, that's just my outlook. Take it or leave it. I'm an overpacker. So when I get ready for a tour, it's like I only want to take one bag. And then, because in the airport you're only able to check 2 bags or something like that before they overcharge you. That's a whole nother issue. But I have golf clubs, so I check golf clubs, so that's my first bag. So I'm only left with 1 bag and maybe a backpack as a carry-on. So I don't know, I like to stay fresh. You know, I like nice clothes, and shoes are like my problem. So I'm only limited to maybe about 4 pair of shoes. And I just pack as much underwear as I can. I hate doing laundry. And then I usually pick up 1 or 2 things along the way in different cities, and end up having to pay for an overweight bag going home at the end of the tour. But yeah, you're in no city longer than 2 days, so it doesn't matter if you repeat or not. I care, but you may not. But as long as you take a shower and smell good, then you're okay, I guess. The best parts of touring is probably the initial 2-3 shows where the fans are like screaming uncontrollably, like you can barely hear. Seeing the smiles on like some of the kids' faces, and like, cause I try as much as I can. Like, if I have some sticks that are beat up, I'll hand them out to the kids, and, you know, have something to take home. That's probably the best part. Seeing everybody's reaction, you know, to you being a part of something so big. Crowd swaying, waving their hands and rocking their head to the beat. it's kind of your responsibility as a drummer, you know, to make that happen. I would say the worst part of touring is like when you get homesick and like you start missing your daughter and your wife and like your family and friends at home, and like you just get in the corner and just like kind of pout a little bit, kind of get away from everybody. I think that's probably the worst. I mean, even then, you know, once you start the show, you forget about all of that. Well, I do anyway. You know, and just try to focus on the task at hand, playing those drums. On this Rihanna gig, we play with tracks, not her tracks. She's actually singing. We have like percussion loops and background vocals and like some like intricate, you know, sounds and stuff like that. But so everything is the click track. So I'm linked and locked to Digital Performer, which is locked to the video, which is locked to the lights, and everything is running on SMPTE. So a lot of the pressure of the show is on me, only because I have to keep everybody in time with what's going on in the show. I have click track on every song, on every interlude, you know, everything. Click track is in my right ear. I only can handle it in my right ear, so I have it panned. And, you know, so sometimes I can take the left ear out and kind of breathe a little bit, get a little bit of the air. But playing with click track is, I mean, if you get good at it, sometimes you don't hear it. I don't know how to explain that, but if you're locked to the click track and everything is cool, you probably won't hear it as loud as you want it in your ears. If you're locked to it, you won't hear it. But that's a good place to be. If you can kind of hear it, then it's, you know, you kind of on top or, you know, below it. But click track is pretty easy to play with. Now it is, but I have a band called Illegally Blind. It's myself, Eric Smith, John Jubal Smith, Carl Wheeler, Errol Cooney, and our music is pretty phenomenal, if I may say so myself. LegallyBlind.com, BLYND. If I can live the rest of my life playing with my own band, I would. I mean, the music is so incredible. You have to kind of be down with us, because it's kind of like on another level. It's good music. It's R&B, blues, rockish, kind of, you know, it has a nice twist to it. It's hard to put it in a genre, which is why it's called Legally Blind, because it's kind of blind to, you know, the genres that the industry would regularly put you in. But I would love to tour with my own band for the rest of my life. I mean, that could sound a little vainish, but there you have it. Sorry. Thanks to everybody for tuning in and listening to me jibber jabber. Thanks to Vater and Vater.com, Chad Brandolini, and the Vater family for doing this video. Check out the Vater 3A Fatbacks, wood or nylon tip. They work. It's the best stick ever. Ever. All the great drummers play Vater. No, I'm just kidding. But Twitter.com/Johnson out, Facebook.com Christopher Johnson. You can kind of follow me there. I'm always on it. I appreciate everything. Peace.